Okay, live with some breaking news, and that comes from the wrestling front. Remember, a few days ago, the sports ministry had said that whatever the committee is looking after the Wrestling Federation of India, that was dissolved, and an ad hoc committee has been put in place. But they also said that there will be elections, fair elections. At that, how much time had they given?
They're
for
given
that
a 45-day period, so
Okay.
that has to be conducted within 45 days' time, and then they'll be putting in place an ad hoc committee to help actually conduct that election. And that's the breaking news we have, that it'll be a two-member ad hoc committee, and it will consist of Suma Shirur and Bhupendra Singh Bajwa. They will be the ones responsible.
Suma Shirur, the shooter, right?
Yes,
Well-known
yes.
shooter.
And Bhupendra Singh Bajwa is the other one, and these will be the two responsible for conducting the WFI elections, which should be held. It was supposed to be held on May 7th.
Yes.
And they said that no, you can't be having those elections right now because there's too much going on. It's a lot of protests. It was declared a null and void process. But now we'll soon know, or whenever that date would be for, of course, hosting the next WFI elections.
Just to let you know, why is it that you've decided to have a fresh election and that to put an ad hoc committee? Because somewhere the sports ministry realized, see, there are charges against the Wrestling Federation boss. Now, he was anyway going to step down. According to the sports code, his tenure was going to get over anyway. But what happens in most federations in India, you do step down, but the muscle men usually have their proxy take over because they control the votes. Now, votes are state votes, state election, and if he's been president for so long, clearly he has that kind of a clout to ensure that, election. I'm not saying they're unfair election, they're fair election that take place. However, because, you have the muscle power, you have the money power, you can influence elections, and all votes then effectively fall for you. So what most of these powerful people that look after association or are at the helm of the association, they may step back, but then they put someone from their camp like a proxy who takes over. So all the votes do come in, and then from behind the doors, they are the ones who are actually still running the federation, even though their names are not there as president, chairman, or what have you. So that's why the sports ministry decided that let's have fresh elections and let's have an ad hoc committee so that they ensure that none of this happens. So there's not much influence there. The elections are fair, and if there is some party that at the moment could be coerced into voting for the powerful men that they are, they can then independently decide whether they want to vote against without any fear. So that's why this process has been done for now. But the interesting bit, I thought, apart from that, was that PT Usha, meanwhile, has slammed the protesters.
Very, very strong words, in fact, she used. Of course, PT Usha, you'd remember, now the president, in fact, of the IOA, the Indian Olympic Association, she said that the wrestlers' protest, and these are her words, that there's not something that's very good for the sport, and that it pretty much amounts to indiscipline. Those are her words.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can look at it both sides. You could look at from the point of view that PT Usha is saying that, this is indiscipline, because I understand what she's saying. At this rate, then everyone will start doing it. Anytime there's an athlete who's upset or is aggrieved by anything that's happening with the administrators, they will then take this route. So on that front, I agree that PT Usha is saying that this is indiscipline. But also you got to look at the other side.
Yeah.
What other option did these wrestlers have? They've been crying hoarse for a long time, saying that there is an issue. And by the way, we cover wrestling for many years. We do know that the way, and I'm not getting into the sexual harassment charges because we don't know enough about it. There will be enough proof. There will be a hearing, and we'll get to know. But in terms of mismanagement of how the federation was run, that is common knowledge. I mean, even me as covering that sport from the outside knew that there was a lot of mismanagement. So if that is a problem and the athletes are upset, and these are not just any Tom, Dick and Harry, these are Olympic medal winners, these are world championship medal winners, and they've been saying that, listen, there is an issue, sort it out. And nothing is being done. So I think then they were left with no option but to do this. And you look at it this way, that only after they did this has media given them this side of attention, and that this matter has even now reached a situation where you've got an ad hoc committee. So I don't blame the wrestlers for doing it, and I'm a bit surprised because PT Usha is a former athlete.
Yeah.
So I thought that she'll have some sort of an empathy, would look at from the point of view of an athlete, and then be a bit generous in our comments to these athletes. Clearly, it's not happening. And what the other thing this does is it actually then shows you, because remember, IO is going to be looking into these elections. It actually tells you a bias that has already crept in.
True.
So as an IOA president, if you come out with an opinion like that, this is indiscipline, then you are showing that there is a slight bias which may not be good going forward, because some tough calls have to be taken and you have to remain very neutral. So I'm a bit surprised that PT Usha would say something like that about the wrestlers. But few big questions that need to be asked right now. When these wrestlers, and this is for the sports ministry to answer, this is for the Indian Olympic Association to answer. In fact, this is also for the government at the center to answer. Brij Bhushan, belongs to a party, right? And so then it becomes even more incumbent on the current ruling party to take an action against him. So, and if you're not going to take action against him, then even if you are not aiding him in any way, that is the conjecture everyone's going to draw.
Correct.
It will be, because it belongs to a political party, and then you're not taking any action against him despite so many complaints. So there will be questions raised to the central government, even to the Home Minister, Prime Minister, whatever, and they've already started being raised, because listen, he's your MP. And if there are charges against him, why are you not doing anything? Secondly, sports ministry, which is also run by the government, they went to the sports ministry, all these wrestlers, and told them, they were told, okay, there will be a oversight committee that will look into the matter. They were given 6 weeks. Those 6 weeks became 3 months, and after that they've submitted the report. Why has the report not been made public? I agree that all the details of a report cannot be made public, but at least the findings of the report have to be made. The key findings
and those were just not made public. In fact, some of the things that we got to find out from even the wrestlers was one of the things they said, and this is perhaps key, and will explain why it is the protests are happening as much as they are, is that the oversight committee had found that there was no way the wrestlers could actually address any complaints within the structure of the WFI. So if there is no way they can make their voice heard within the hierarchy or the structure that's there, do they have any other choice but to go out and protest?
Exactly. So you didn't have, the various committees that are needed to address grievances of an athlete that were absent in the Wrestling Federation. That is one thing. The other thing is they've said there have been like sexual harassment charges have been, leveled against Brij Bhushan Sharan. So at the moment, what you need to do is at least tell us whether is there any, proof there? Is there anything that they found? Either ways, maybe you found him or you give him a clean chit. So be it. Or otherwise, you saw there were enough charges to implicate him, then you need to come out with that. So either ways, you need to tell us what really happened. 3 months have gone by, nothing coming out, even from the sports ministry. Sports ministry stayed silent. When you see all of these things, I can't help but empathize and sympathize with the wrestlers. Remember, they themselves wouldn't want to be sitting there.
Exactly.
They themselves would be wanting to participate in international tournaments. So it's not really helping them that they are having to miss their schedule. I'm saying address the issue. Whatever is the result, make it public. When you are trying to hide a few things, not making it public, not telling us what it is, when you're not transparent enough, then doubts are definitely going to be raised.
In fact, add to your point, Bajrang Punia and Dinesh Fogart had actually had tours approved, top stores approved, which they are now skipping in order to be here in protest, because they know that probably getting the sport cleaned up right now is a bigger thing, which is saying something considering it is the year of the Asian Games. They would have the Asian Championships, if I'm not wrong, to compete in. And of course, you're preparing for the Paris Olympics, which are next year. It's a big time. It's an important time. If you're an athlete, you want to be training. But if you have these grievances, they're not being addressed. And as we say, 6 weeks turned to 3 months. There's no response whatsoever. Finally, now you're reaching a point where when they hit the protest for the second time, the sports ministry takes cognizance and say, okay, we'll have to do the elections again. Then we'll put this ad hoc committee there to ensure elections are done in a fair and transparent manner. Can you say that they were wrong to protest? Because they have protested and they're actually finally getting results, actual tangible action, which we had not seen. Because I remember the first time this came up was at the start of this year, 2023. It was around January beginning, and it's end of April now. There was no movement. They were not. They didn't do this out of their own. Let's say, it's not like they had nothing else to do. let's just say they wanted to protest or they needed to protest.
I'm seeing a few comments saying that, X said this, Babita said this, Yogeshwar said that, this athlete said this. I know there's a lot of to and fro. My word against him or his word against. I understand. That is only because you've not streamlined it. And that's why I would say that sports ministry, to whom they went, the higher authority they went to, should have streamlined it by now. You come out, make it transparent, saying, see, what happens? Why do speculations happen? Why is it my word against you? Because when you don't have a definite, transparent communication, that's when all these things start to happen. That, no, I am right, no, he's wrong, he's lying. You come out, say exactly, this is the committee, you make the committee sit, which was an independent committee, they sit, address the press conference, say these were the charges, this is what we found him guilty of, this is what we've absolved him for, and we've absolved him because XYZ proof could not be established by the athletes. Whatever it is, you need to come out and say it. It's only when you're hiding things, when you're dragging your feet over an issue for such a long time, then question will be asked. And I dare I say that, see, why am I saying even, you need to ask questions of the government, is because what is the common sort of communication that comes out of the government, from the Prime Minister, from even the top, is that they love sportsmen, they want to support sports. They've come out with great schemes like Khelo India and all of that. That actually, there's nullifies all of it if your top athletes are sitting on a dharna for so long and whatever the findings are not being made public. I'm not saying the athletes are right. Maybe what they're charging him for, maybe there are no proof, or maybe there's some personal animosity, whatever it is. But let us know, let it be transparent, and quick action needs to be taken, not dragging your feet. And that's why I would want even higher authorities. I would want the sports minister to come out and say whatever it is. We haven't heard from him. We would want, Prime Minister does the Man Ki Baat. He's often congratulated athletes on good performances when they've done. If there is an issue, you need to address this issue, whatever it is. Even if you want to send out an appeal to the athletes to be calm and, take your time, or the wrestlers that, okay, we are still finding it out. Whatever, that communication needs to happen. That unfortunately is not happening. And if your top level athletes are going to be treated like that, can you imagine what must happen in different level, in a district level or state level sport? If you're an athlete and if you have a problem with an administrator, who's high-handed in his approach. So I'm saying these are things, if you're looking to clean the system, you want things to be better in the world of sport in the country, then you need to handle everything, instantly. Transparency is definitely needed in what is happening. Independent people are needed. So certain things have been done, but certain things they've fallen short in. And I think that is where the problem lies.
Absolutely. I think that's the key. Transparency, once we get to know. And again, we don't need to know every single detail of the report. But at least give us key findings. At least let us know, okay, so these, or talk about, let's say, the grievances which the wrestlers put in place. They had these 3-4 points. Address those 3-4 points and say that the committee sounds so and so. But we heard nothing. It was radio silence.
I'm saying, okay, assuming that the sexual harassment charges cannot be proven at the moment, assuming, because they didn't have enough proof. Come out, say that we gave them an opportunity. Just hearsay cannot be a reason to charge him for that. You have multiple people. See, why I'm saying that there are enough people saying it. Today it's not an athlete. I read an interview of a physiotherapist who now is another person who's come out and said that it was happening at a level where he complained but no action was taken. So now multiple people are coming out and saying it, and if you're not going to investigate, you're not going to take any action against an MP who's part of the central government, then it is going to raise doubts and people are going to talk about it. So
Absolutely.
I think it's a very big story in Indian sport. If we want, what happens is we all wake up during Olympic times and we expect our athletes to win medals, but we are not bothered when they're going through a lot of problems right now. You need to sort their lives now, make it easier for them now, and then maybe we can then cheer for them during the Olympic game. When you have a full support, they can go in with a clean mind, with great amount of training and backing. Only then can they perform at the best level, which unfortunately has not happened. It's not an ideal situation for the ministry, for the sport in general, and even for those wrestlers who are waiting at the moment.
And really for the Indian public as well, because we keep talking about we want to become a great sporting nation. One of the best ways to become that is to ensure your federations are properly run, that your athletes have all the support they need.
I am saying, like, whenever there's an issue, right? Let's take a look at whether it's a issue in an office and there's a grave charge against one of the employees. What is the first thing we do is we suspend that employee. We say till the time you're clear of these charges, we will do investigation, suspend it. But no such action was taken. In fact, Brijbhushan Sharan was defined. He'll say, no, I'll stay on in my chair I will. Then he said, I will resign anyway, but I will conduct the elections. The elections will happen in my hometown. You know, that's where everyone will come. None of that you could change. But which is why, you know, you don't have faith in the powers that be, that they could set things right. Because when a lot of politics is involved, a lot of powerful people are involved, can you have a fair and transparent probe? Can you be fair in punishing the person? That's what everyone wants to see. So that's not happening at the moment. And again, as I said, we're not taking anyone's side. We don't know what the charges are and if those charges are proven or not. But what you would least want to do, I'm reminded of you know, IPL, and when the entire spot fixing saga came, you know, BCCI president's name, a lot of powerful people, their name came in. The issue was not that has happened. I think people would have been, or you know, whether someone is guilty or not. That was not the issue. The issue was that they were refusing to probe the matter. The BCCI president was refusing to recuse himself from the board and sit out and say, okay, till the matter is. That was the issue. Had you done everything properly, saying, okay, this has come up, I'm leaving my post for now because you know, my name or my team or whatever, I have connection, I'm not such and such independent people, they will investigate. If everything was done in a clean manner, the pressure wouldn't have been on N. Srinivasan. But because he was defiant, he said, you cannot remove me, I will sit here. He appointed 2 of his friends as judges, people looking into all of those issues. Then that is when, you know, people went after that. Do everything in a transparent manner, do it in a fair manner. That's what everyone wants at the moment. Unfortunately, it's not happening, so one can't help but side with the athletes.
Absolutely. I think, the longer this drags, in fact, the more you're going to realize, in fact, if there's a clean, quick resolution, then you're saying, okay, fair. At least then the athletes got what they wanted, the investigations were done, maybe you can start from scratch, clean, you know, reset, new elections, new body, new way of functioning. Hopefully we have that soon. Hopefully.
Chalo, for the moment, we'll keep updating you on Sports Today as and when we get new updates on this big story. I keep reminding you, it is probably the biggest story right now. I know IPL is happening, we're all enjoying watching it, but this is a big story because this involves not just the sport of wrestling, but sport in general and sports administration in general, and which will have an impact on all sports across India, depending on the action or the lack of it, you know, that is done in this particular case.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye, see you.